was the Rise, which, according to the stats we have in front of us, across the major regions right now, is the only champion with 100% presence in pick bans. So not surprised to see him taken off the table. It's first pick Ashe for C9 and Bjergsen Varus for 100 Thieves.
And Zven was on the support Ashe train way earlier than a lot of other players. We saw it at the end of last year. With the hover on Heimerdinger, though, you're thinking that's probably a Berserker Ashe and a Heimerdinger support form for one of those big pushing bottom lanes that have really become the meta right now. Meanwhile, on the side of 100 Thieves, with the Varus over there trying to do a similar thing, you can actually go on hit or lethality depending on enemy team comp right now. Both builds are viable. So we'll see how the rest of it rounds out. Ksante, a highly prized top laner, did sustain some nerfs, but still so high priority for the top lane into Tenacity's Jax. And we talked to Tenacity. It was really cool when we had the kickoff tournament, and he talked about their scrims versus Cloud9 already. He said the only top laner that did beat him was Fudge. Yeah. And he's the one who had the confidence to blind pick this Jax. So we'll see if the Ksante is enough to deal with it. I know Ksante early definitely has a strong lane.
I mean, even during the kickoff event, when we were talking to Tenacity saying, hey man, what's your top lane tier list? He's like, all right, well, it's me and Fudge. And then there's like a big gap, and there's like everybody else, I guess.
He's also a little biased because he's very good friends with Fudge.
Right, of course. But I like that build-up, you know? We've got Azir locked in here for the side of 100 Thieves and for Bjergsen specifically before we get into the second half of the bans. Elise will be the first one banned here in second half. Neither team having locked in a jungler means we're probably going to see some more bans towards that. Sejuani banned out by C9.
Yeah, the jungle pool right now has been pretty stale, I'm going to be honest. Very stale with, Wukong, Vi, Maokai, all kind of floating around there. And it's kind of interesting that we still don't have, Maokai showing his face here in the bans or the picks already. They opted to ban out the Elise,
You're just trying to jinx it, huh?
The earlier game jungle. Thank you very much. I really wanted to see the Maokai ban come in. I was able to get it into reality here. But the Elise ban, they kind of talked a little bit about it on the desk as well. Very high win rate in solo queue right now. Very good at setting up tower dives. If you have a Heimerdinger Ashe lane or these premier pushing lanes, you get a big wave built up. You go dive the enemies on that wave. Elise is the best at facilitating that. Here we go, though. The Sylas pick away here. It's one of Diplex's most played champions. So a little bit of a steal away here as well. Yeah. And that's going to be either probably a jungle Sylas here or closer. Definitely have a lot of faith in this guy.
And with Sylas locked in, Akali is a champion. We saw this so much during Worlds 2022. These champions always on opposite sides of the rift, often lined up against one another.
And it's a very good counter pick into Azir. Does rely on confidence and going for kill threat, though. Yeah. So I like how Cloud9 are putting that confidence into Diplex himself very early on. First stage game versus Bjergsen. They see the Azir, the blind pick, and he says, fine. We answer it with the Akali. It will go for that level 6 kill. See if they can get the burst damage.
And I was talking to Emily Rand about it yesterday. Hold on now. With Viego locked in, we know this is a closer staple champion. Okay. So we've got
support. Busio was a mid laner. Busio was a mid laner before switching to support. And he's going with the Azir. Now this did happen. I'm trying to remember the actual game. But it did happen already in professional play. Can't remember the exact game, but the Azir as one of the counters into Heimerdinger. People are always trying to come up with these counters now to Heimerdinger to deal with the turrets because it's so oppressive, these pushing bottom lanes. That's why we saw, Jhin support become a thing. Similar idea there with the Azir. Plus you can go for these big all-ins with the move back, with the Azir sweep. Let's see if it works here on stage, though. I love it. Really
around, make things happen, try to make some plays once you hit 6. I think it's a good sign for these guys and how they want to start things off. We're onto the Rift. It's 45 seconds in, and we're just seeing a couple of pot shots go back and forth.
All right, level 1, baby. Ward already over on blue buff here to try and find out the starting location for Blaber. Blaber always likes to go for full clears if possible on any other champion besides like Elise or Lee Sin. So let's see if he goes towards a topside start and then does end up trying to support this bottom lane with this new factor of the Azir support coming in, attempted counter.
I can't believe we got Azir support in game number 1, man. This is gonna be a good time. We got Zven and Berserker with the control over the brush here, getting that forward positioning with the turrets. DoubleLift and Busio can just step up and start trying to clear those out. There's some of those Azir soldiers doing the work on him. Turret can't put up a whole lot of a fight right now. But man, ever since Worlds, ever since Barrel popularized this and showed everybody how it works, Heimerdinger support has been a menace in the bottom lane.
Truly has, truly has. Going to absorb some nerfs as well because of it. Top side here, we talked up Tenacity versus Fudge, this friendship of top laners.
Yeah.
Some of the closest, I feel like, of any of the 2 top laners that we have in the league on a personal level. So excited to see them with this blind pick Jax here early on from Tenacity. You know, Fudge here, see if he can get anything going early on with the Ksante.
Not just blind pick Jax, but it's also the mini rework Jax that has the update to everything, including his ability icons. They're not made in MS Paint anymore. So he's new, he's shiny. Everybody's looking to get something going there. But Ksante, you mentioned a little bit in Champion Select. He's endured some nerfs because he's very, very powerful. So I'm excited to see how Fudge plays him. Closer's going to invade here early. Blaber's still at his own red. Closer should find him before this is cleared out.
Blaber here pulling the buff away from the brush because they do expect it.
Oh, nice.
Closer still able to get with the burst damage there. Nice little bit of timing. Super, super close. He's not done either.
Blaber's going to grab the big chicken. Dashes over the wall there. Wukong's mobility keeping him away from any further aggression from Closer, but Closer can at least pick up a couple of these smaller chickens, steal some of that golden EXP away, and he's not done yet. He's still hanging around here.
Yeah, coming in with the red buff, gonna fight Blaber. See if we can catch him once again.
Mist is going to allow him to have a bit of bonus move speed, but he already used the Spectral Maw, so without the stun, he can't stick to him.
And this has a twofold effect here for Closer. When you go and you invade the enemy jungler like this, you take away Cloud9's red quadrant. It takes a lot of the power out of that heavy pushing lane. Berserker and Zven have to worry about, you know, Closer back around behind them, and they've been getting chunked out here. DoubleLift and Busio, even though they're getting pushed in a little bit, do have a very small CS lead as well as a little bit of a health lead.
DoubleLift and Busio just hanging out here, seeing if they can dare these guys to come a little bit closer. They know they got Closer nearby, but they've also got to be aware it's highly likely that Blaber was also near.
I gotta point out that DoubleLift still has 3 potions left as well. So that health lead will sustain for him very, very easily. You can see him keeping the minion waves on their side while the Cloud9 duo does have to go back.
And I think that's one thing that so many people have been so curious about is what does DoubleLift's form look like in these first couple of weeks, returning to the LCS? Obviously, he hasn't been completely away from League of Legends. He's been streaming, he's been playing, he's been co-streaming, but does he still got it? Is he still that top level? And that's something everybody's going to be paying so much attention to, especially when you're on a champion like Varus that can have that skill expression with the snipes and with the plays.
All right, we mentioned the early stages here for the Ksante. Blaber comes up to help Fudge. See if they can take down Tenacity. He's got the dodge zone.
Tenacity's ready to go. The helicopter has taken off, but will they force him back to the ground? Tenacity with a flash away and an outplay. Blaber's nearly dead. Tenacity looking good here against the 2v1 dive.
Yeah, Fudge not able to charge up his Qs beforehand. A good flash from Tenacity got him out of danger. Blaber not quite out of danger yet. Closer doesn't go get a visual confirmation though.
That was really well done from Tenacity there. Good use of the E, good use of the flash to be able to keep himself alive. Zven's pretty low here in bottom lane. Busio and DoubleLift were both able to go back, heal up, return to lane, so they're feeling pretty strong in their current position. Zven with only 200 HP, yeah, he's got potions. That Heimerdinger is squishy if they can ever get on top of him. DoubleLift's arrows will be the bane of his existence unless he's got those juke boots ready to go. Still 0-0, 5.5 minutes into the game. No objectives taken yet, but 100 Thieves have a very small gold lead for themselves, built off a farm. Most of that built in the jungle. You can see Closer, 38, now 40 farm compared to only the 18 of Blaber.
Definitely doing a very good job with the aggressive invade looks. Of course, in preseason, they did reduce damage you're going to do to enemy camps while you're invading, but doesn't matter at all if you're going for the true damage smite as well, and he was able to get the combo off no problem, stealing away the red, taking away a decent amount. Closer Viego, of course, has that history, especially in the finals.
Oh yeah.
accolades for him, and he is the piece that 100 Thieves decided to keep this year when they were making so many drastic changes. You know, putting faith in bringing back DoubleLift and Bjergsen, combining them, and Closer back out on the map, wants to make an early move.
Here we go. Spectral Maw is going to find the target. Diplex goes out, goes back in. E1, E2 takes Closer to about 60% there, but doesn't want to try to fully commit to anything, just backs away. Diplex does not want to lose a bunch of HP immediately after just recently teleporting back to lane. Worth pointing out as well, since you mentioned about the jungle changes, both junglers are using the green pet this time around. So I don't know what he's actually named. I just call him Bulbasaur. But they're going to be getting the shield. They'll be getting the tenacity bonus.
It's close to Moss Stomper, something like that.
I think that's actually what it is. That sounds right now that you're saying it out loud. If it's not right, you did a good job.
It might not be the whole thing.
Well, either way, that's the one they're going to be using. I expect to see a lot of it in pro play. Fudge and Tenacity trading back a little bit here. Fudge knocks him into the turret, takes him low, jumps right back in. Fudge going for the solo kill. He flashes forward. Tenacity tries to spin, but Fudge gets the outplay and gets the first blood of the LCS in 2023.
Down to the last auto, baby. I was looking for something early out of the Ksante, and Fudge does not disappoint. So close there. But Tenacity did not have his flash from the previous tower dive that Blaber was able to pull off there. Missing the flash there means that Fudge is able to convert, and we get our first blood of the LCS.
I love these skill-expressive top lane matchups where you get to outplay the guy and get those sorts of fancy maneuvers in there. Closer's back here in mid. Bjergsen has stolen away Diplex's Akali ultimate, so lots of burst available here around mid for either side, as Bjergsen can now roam with Closer towards this top side river. The Scuttle Crab was just secured by Blaber, so he's at least got that to keep him safe as he farms up his own blue. Doesn't have to pass that off to Akali just yet. And you're going to see Bjergsen right back in mid. Now let's take another look at how this fight started, because it was Fudge forcing Tenacity under the turret.
Yeah, so Ksante kind of plays like the third brother of Yasuo and Yone with the Q charge ups.
Yeah.
And then you always want to use your ultimate after you've already taken some damage. Fudge got really good positioning there to get Tenacity deep towards his turret, and then flashes over for the last one. The stun here, right when his Q goes off. So the timing there, still with the stun from the Q from Fudge, able to buy him enough time to get that last bit of damage off.
That was a nice arrow from Berserker hitting Busio. Unfortunately for Cloud9, it was not that effective because of the fact that Busio buffered the dash over the wall to be able to escape it. But if that had not been buffered, surely would have been a kill there. C9, however, with control over the top side river, they will pick up this first neutral objective of the game in the Rift Herald for themselves. The gold has equalized thanks to the first blood that Fudge earned. It's still DoubleLift, the most wealthy man in the game, by a very, very small margin.
And he's about to get more wealthy right now. He's at the turret. I'm pretty sure he should be able to get a turret plate during this time. So the price of this Rift Herald is going to be more pushing power for DoubleLift. Busio comes down, does share it with DoubleLift, so they split the money a little bit here. Trying to get that Azir a little bit more power. By the way, our stats person at least could not find the other professional game, so we're gonna claim, first professional.
We're gonna claim it.
Here. Yeah, as far as stats is concerned, it was just other challenger games as it was coming out, and Busio is going to be able to rotate over for the dragon as well. So 100 Thieves with the bottom lane control here are able to also start stacking those dragons.
And that's what I love to see. You recognize you've got the advantage of that massive pushing wave because they rotated their men top to try to take the Herald. Turn that into the plates. Turn that into the Drake. Make sure you're getting a punish there. So good stuff coming out of 100 Thieves. Still a dead even game here, 10 minutes in. I'm curious where we're going to see the action and where it's going to come from, because everybody's having ultimates come online now. We saw the Berserker arrow already get used. We saw the 1v1 in top, but I'm curious who's going to pull that trigger next.
Yeah, it looks like Busio will go for like a Rylai's build here for the Azir as well to provide some more peel, some more slows.
I mean, I like that a lot, right? It turns your little soldiers into a better zone control mechanism.
And I want to see the CC possibilities with that bottom lane are ginormous. With DoubleLift on the Varus, can do some setup here. So we'll see if they go for a big all-in play on the bottom side once Busio gets level 6 as well.
Closer was getting pressured here a little bit by Diplex around those chickens. Meanwhile, top side, you can see Blaber looking for maybe another chance at a dive on Tenacity, but they walk away from it. Tenacity does have his flash back up and ready to go. He'll have his teleport ready to bring him back to lane in about 15 seconds from now. You can see Fudge has already gone back to base. Those teleports top are desynced, and we'll keep an eye on whether or not that influences anything. Fudge should be back and ready by the time that we get to the next Drake if they decide they want to fight for that. But it's still not a very bloody game here early on. DoubleLift continuing to find some of those piercing arrows down in bottom, but they're pretty happy just trading the farm back.
Yeah, just that first blood of the 1v1 on top side, which had pretty big ramifications. You know, Fudge being able to complete his Iceborne Gauntlet very early on is going to be a huge, huge power benefit. That thing giving so much armor, protecting against Closer as well. Speaking of which,
Diplex getting back away from the Viego. Bjergsen jumps in to add some extra damage, but Diplex is still doing all right. The smoke does a great job at keeping him protected. Blaber's also got this Eye of the Herald in his inventory, so we will need to see Cloud9 try to use that one here soon. Berserker firing off an arrow. Bjergsen, calm, cool, and collected, steps away from it. It flies top, but it doesn't hit Tenacity either. So C9 not going to find anything off of that second attempted shot here from their AD carry. I'll have to try to see how many of those he fires off, see what the accuracy rating looks like as the game moves forward. But Blaber only has about less than a minute, 45, 50 seconds to go on dropping that eye. We need to see it placed somewhere soon.
yeah, definitely want to get the turret plate gold value out of it, as well as the already acquired kill gold. Under tower here with the trade.
Fudge has no fear, forcing the flash out of Tenacity underneath the turret. This is the power of Ksante. This champion has so much he can do. There's so many different ways you can utilize the kit well. If you're good at him, he feels ridiculous to play against.
Yeah, the turning into a DPS champ with the ult here right afterwards. Herald used on top side. Tower's going to go down. That's first tower gold as well for Cloud9. Racking up a lot of firsts in this game and a 1.6k gold lead.
Closer's gonna walk up and make sure that Blaber just doesn't steal away this red buff for free. Blaber providing a distraction while the Herald attempts the second charge up in top lane, but will not be able to execute on that in time. Tenacity was able to leap to it and strike the eyeball.
Double with the flash and the heal here to get out of range of that arrow. No summoner spells on the Varus now, but no damage dealt either.
Important to remember, Varus is one of those champions that traditionally was always played with something protective. Braum, Tom Kench, something that would protect the fact that he does not have inbuilt defense mechanisms. DoubleLift with neither summoner spell and a support named Azir is going to be pretty vulnerable, and I expect Cloud9 to probably try to attack that soon.
I wonder if we'll see some more focus towards that bottom lane. With DoubleLift also using his ultimates, we'll see about the cooldowns once those two come back up for him and Berserker. Dragon should align with that with 45 seconds left on the timer.
Well, we see the Eclipse in DoubleLift's inventory, so you talked about how both builds are viable right now. He's looking at the enemy team. He's saying, all right, we want to go for the poke. We want to be able to chunk you guys out, find those big piercing arrows.
I think it'll be telling if Cloud9 decide to bring Fudge down to try and force 100 Thieves off this dragon. Fudge already taking the top tower, and so he can push the wave in. If they call him down, he is the richest man in the game. He is the dangerous one that 100 Thieves have to worry about. Tenacity does have teleport, but still would be a dangerous fight, especially if Heimerdinger is able to set up the turrets and get in there first. Cloud9 moving in now. They make this power play with Fudge time worth it. They go in and clear out all this vision that 100 Thieves had set up.
And these aren't just teleports. Remember, we're now past the 14-minute mark. The teleports are unleashed. They can show up at any time, anywhere, as long as there's a ward, but it doesn't look like 100 Thieves is ready to challenge for this. So Cloud9 will grab second Drake. They'll tie up that Drake count, and that means that we aren't going to be looking at an early soul win condition for 100 Thieves.
So far, Cloud9 with a very good game plan, utilizing this counter pick. When Tenacity blind picks this Jax, you know, Fudge, they gave him confidence to go for it. They got him the first blood. Blaber went there to burn the flash with the tower dive, and a lot of resources used. Now, though, they want to fight him off the Herald.
They're ready to go. Fudge jumps in on his own. He's going to find the ulti onto Closer, looking to bring him to the rest of the team, but it's not going to work to find a kill. It will work to take the objective, but now Blaber needs to get out of town. Pops the ulti, making sure he's able to spin away, and Cloud9 honestly executes a beautiful heist against the Thieves.
They get out in time. Does cost them the ultimates, but they're very happy with that. the objective acquired here. Rift Herald #2 also picked up for them. And they just continue to increase this gold lead. Fudge teleports right back out.
And it was a little dicey there when Fudge jumped in, right? Because he did what you mentioned. You like to take some damage before you ult with Ksante because it does significantly reduce your maximum HP. So he chunked himself out, then took a lot of burst as he jumped in. He escaped with not a lot left in the tank, but the fact that he escaped is all that matters. C9, they were in a spot where they were going to trade neutral objectives just like earlier, but now they got them both.
And now what I'm looking at is some action from Diplex, the man on your screen right now. Akali, level 11, has Sork Shoes and Proto Belt. This is a huge power spike for Akali. When you get that rank 2 ultimate, and you've got all the spell penetration from your boots, from your Proto Belt, see if you can make any sort of side lane play here, because if you do not, Sylas does start to outscale. You know, this is a Rod of Ages build Sylas at that. You know, Bjergsen is very happy if there are no kills for the Akali in the next few minutes at his chances in this game. Already 4 stacks on that Rod of Ages, just gonna keep on gaining power.
Yeah, the next 6 minutes specifically, because remember, this item now, compared to the old one of many years past, now gives that extra level once you hit the 10 stacks. It feels really strong. It was recently buffed because it wasn't feeling that great for a little bit, even after being reintroduced. So Bjergsen having this item, scaling up here a little bit, sitting on 0, 0, and 0 is fine. Honestly, 17 minutes into the game and only 1 kill is a lot slower in terms of PvP than what I was expecting.
Yeah, we're edging towards some very hyped team fights.
Yeah.
I feel like with this setup. Also, the question of the split push will remain here. With Tenacity now finally got his 1 item. With his Sunder finish, does have his flash and his teleport ready. So that teleport advantage that you kept on bringing up has returned 400 Thieves. See if they can actually make use of it.
But right now, Tenacity's got a Sunder and a Longsword. Fudge has his completed Gauntlet along with his completed Sunfire Cape. This Ksante just feels like the X factor in the game, as wherever he goes, 100 Thieves are going to have a good answer for it, or they're going to end up suffering a whole lot. Fudge jumps into 2, ready to go, up against Closer and Busio. Let's see if he can find a little bit more here. A lot of damage comes out. Fudge goes in. Closer has to run. DoubleLift under pressure. And Blaber just beats him to death. Welcome back to the LCS. And C9 takes the turret in mid to go with. Now Busio falls to Fudge. And the push continues as 100 Thieves crumble in mid lane. Fudge low. Has to flash. Don't matter. Tenacity gets Thieves on the board.
The tower there for 100 Thieves doing a lot. Almost able to get them 2 as Zven had to flash out as well. A little bit of money back, a little bit of hope back there for 100 Thieves at the end of what was a dominating minute here for Cloud9 as they just pushed and shoved 100 Thieves across the map. Berserker set him up, Blaber knocked him down to get that kill onto DoubleLift. No summer spells for him once again, and another tower taken by Cloud9. They just continue to increase their control on this game.
And the way Fudge was able to jump into Closer and Busio and just say, I don't care about either of you. I'm going to smack you both around until I can get to where I need to go look for this kill. It's scary to deal with, man. I'm trying to figure out what the answer is. But when you see plays like these, it gets tough.
Yeah, he's so tanky. He's taking almost no damage, even with this support. Azir is hitting him while he's fighting Closer. And then once Tenacity comes over, he just jumps his way out. Blaber gets the kill. This is where they get a little bit over-aggressive.
Yeah.
Fudge might have to worry about tower damage.
Oh, boy. DoubleLift, you might want to get out of there, buddy. All right. He's good for now. He survives. The Sun Disc from Busio is going to keep him protected. But C9 is focusing on this No Summoner's Varus.
And the split push here for Tenacity starting to gain some power. The Jax thwack in full action here. Some solo tower gold on an outer tower here side lane. Much needed for him, much needed for 100 Thieves to try and close this gap.
Level 13 also very important for Jax. Remember, you max his Empower first for your DPS potential, but level 13 is where you're going to max out that counter strike as well, making it so he's much more survivable in extended trades in team fights. So Tenacity, he's getting closer and closer to being able to match that pressure that Fudge can bring to the table, but unfortunately for the Thieves, they're still down 3,000 gold, and it means they don't want to take a fight in open ground. They don't want to fight on fair terms, which means surrendering the Dragon over to Cloud9 and to Blaber. Fudge trying to defend the blue buff against Closer, but smite is smite, not really going to happen, and Closer can walk it off.
Rod of Ages tracking going well. 7 stacks here for Bjergsen. close to stack number 8 as well to try and get that big payoff of the level.
You jinxed it. It can only stack when the clock moves, and now the clock doesn't move.
Well, Bjergsen is the Lord of Time with all
They did ban the Zillion. They did ban the Zillion.
See if we can pull out some old tricks.
We will let you guys know whenever we find out exactly what the pause is about. But hey,
I will laugh
sometimes.
so hard if it is a mouse issue, because Travis Gafford is here in the audience. He took a picture of DoubleLift looking at his mouse. There are our pauses.
All right,
blink of an eye, baby.
We did
Let's
have
go.
that issue. It doesn't matter. Everybody forget that was there, because we're right back into the game. Drake was just taken by the side of Cloud9, so they got a 2-1 lead on those. Bjergsen grabbing a turret in bottom lane for 100 Thieves. Very important to lower this gold difference. Busio again doing a good job utilizing Azir's dash to buffer away. DoubleLift's not going to be able to buffer that one, but he will be protected by his team. And 100 Thieves gets the punish back with Zven dead. C9 are going to try to find one in trade, and they'll take Closer down. It's Diplex into the back. He's already found DoubleLift, and he might be able to find Busio too. Tenacity is not looking very tenacious right now, and Berserker goes berserk as 100 Thieves are getting cut down. Bjergsen wants to be the hero, but C9 reduces him to 0. It is an ace for C9, and the last kill goes to Diplex.
Fudge just living on slivers of HP there. Diplex absolutely deleting DoubleLift there in the back as well with the Akali. Let's take another look at the initiation. Now, you can see what they're thinking. They're going for DoubleLift again. They're saying Varus with no summoner spells, prime target. So they hit him with the arrow. Zven was going in to follow up on the arrow, but all of 100 Thieves peel for DoubleLift. Busio with the ultimate here from Azir pushes back Blaber, pushes back the Wukong. Closer went in though, so exposed himself as a kill target, and then Diplex absolutely immediately deletes DoubleLift, zoning out the backline, while Fudge just works straight through the front line. This Ksante murdering them, and as he goes right up, even with the Ignite on him, the chains here from Bjergsen and Sylas do get blocked up.
Yeah.
So they save Fudge, and he's not able to take down Fudge even with the stolen Akali ultimate, so he survives there as well. No Baron taken in the aftermath though, so it's just the extra gold thus far for Cloud9. You
ever build all tank items and then just have casual 4,300 damage in a team fight at 21 minutes into the game?
It's kind of cool to be able to swap the tank items into DPS when you hold, yes?
My health gives me damage.
Definitely a sick fantasy for Fudge to be living right now.
Fudge is living the dream.
And he is going with the Gargoyle Stoneplate third as well, so can give him that really big shield with the active. If you have good timing with that, as well, is super, super potent. As we saw in the last one, you're living on slivers of HP.
And I think that's the important thing about it, compared to other items like Sterix, like Maw. Hold on, DoubleLift goes in, flash engage, but Berserker's got a fast enough reaction time to get away from it. Tenacity eats the arrow, and now Blaber's coming right on back, baby, let it rip! Tenacity's gone! 100 Thieves are on the run, and Cloud9's looking to find a little bit more. It looks like the Thieves have put enough distance between themselves and their opponents, but it's another fight that goes C9's way, as 100 has to retreat back into their own jungle. Fudge is going to keep leading the charge. He'll keep looking to try to pressure these guys, keep them away. C9 starting up the Baron now, and it looks like 100 Thieves are now dared to stop it. You cannot just let them have the Baron if you're already down 5K, but you got to get through this wall of Fudge if you want to get in. He's just playing the backside of the pit, keeping them all zoned. Bjergsen coming back around from the side here. Bjergsen's gonna be jumped on. Bjergsen's gonna be dumped on. C9 get the mid laner. They'll pick up the support. And Closer and DoubleLift gotta go back home and tell their families.
And that's definitely gonna be a C9 Baron unless DoubleLift comes through with a God Arrow steal. Varus ultimates. Varus Q.
I don't know if this is gonna be like, DoubleLift's gonna have some World Finals Varus Qs to steal this one away.
Can he get in range? Can he get in range?
Diplex trying to zone him out. Nice. It looks like they're gonna get a shutdown here. That's a big one, taking out the enemy mid laner. Now, can they use this to get it done? Fudge knocks him right back into the pit. It's low. It's stolen. Troll Closer. He somehow does it again and again and again.
Closer gets inside, he steals the Baron, but all the Thieves are down. Cloud9 wiped them off the map. See about the respawn there from Busio and Bjergsen. If the overlap gave them a Baron, Busio respawns quick enough. He has a Baron buff. They've got one to work with, but a 5,000 gold deficit they're staring down.
Let's take another look at it here in the replay. Last half of the fight, at least.
All right, so DoubleLift's able to hit him with the Varus ultimate here. They take down the Akali in the Shroud. They know where he is because he got rooted by the ultimate. Then there's a bunch of pressure on Baron immediately. Closer ults in, unstoppable. Fudge tries to go for him, takes him out, and the Ashe arrow is shot at him. So you know, Cloud9 are like doing everything they can to keep Closer out, and it's not enough. He just flashes back in time and still gets it. Closer, you know, keeps pulling out these magnificent plays for 100 Thieves, showing why he is the one player they did keep, but still not going to be enough as Cloud9 take them down.
Right, I know all three guys died there, and yeah, that sucks when three of your guys die. But if they gave over Baron, I actually think the game's over. Closer just saved it for 100. Their backs are still against the wall. It's still an uphill climb, but it is still climbable. You've got Blade of the Ruined King, Divine Sunderer working on the third item here for Tenacity. 1v1 up in the top side. Bjergsen versus Diplex. Meanwhile, bottom, the 4v4 takes Closer low. Stunned up underneath the turret. C9 disengaging for now. Back up in top. Bjergsen and Diplex both backing away. Sylas versus Akali, that skill matchup. And it looks like they're going to settle on a draw.
Yeah, there is a stopwatch in inventory for Diplex right now, and Bjergsen looks like he used his Zonias. C9, despite this Baron buff on Busio, trying to buff up the minions and defend the tower, Cloud9 still just brute force push it down.
Baron buffs the minions, but not the turrets, sadly, for 100 Thieves. That thing's gonna crumble. It's a 5-2 turret count for C9, 3-1 in Drake's, 6.3 thousand gold lead. The clock is ticking ever forward against 100 Thieves, and they're gonna need a big moment soon before the Cloud9 war machine becomes unstoppable.
And shouts out to Berserker too. I mean, he's got the interesting build with the mandate, with the Ravenous.
Ultimate bravery?
Plus, he has 0 deaths. He is the only player in the game not to die, and he has hit many key Ashe arrows here, setting stuff up for Cloud9. So lots of good stuff already for C9 coming out of their bottom lane that wanted so much to play together again for another season.
And the thing that I'm worried about, if I'm 100 Thieves, I'm looking at those inventories. I see stopwatch, Zonia's just now completed for Diplex as well. That means a lot of ability for outplays and ability to prevent kills that could otherwise bring you back into the game. So what I'm thinking is 100 Thieves either have to find an immaculate pick from a max range Chains of Corruption or something like that, or they just got to get the perfect synergy with Azir swooping everybody in as Bjergsen steals an Akali ult into 5.
Yeah, I mean, they could try and look for a trailing split push play as well. That's one of my favorites, especially when you're down and the enemy team is trying to use multiple lanes. If you send both your solo laners, the Jax as well as the Sylas into one, you 2v1 the enemy solo and then use one of your teleports to get back to your team so you don't give anything up. That could be a possibility, but this one looks like it's going to be a Cloud9 2v1 as Diplex joins Fudge.
Tenacity's trying to get the better of him here in the duel, but Diplex says, nah, man, it's a team game. Puts a shuriken in his back, and now with another TP showing up, Bjergsen might find himself in a compromised spot, but he's got backup too. Closer arrives, but the Gargoyle Stoneplay keeps Fudge alive. He's able to outplay it. He turns right back around and gets to the safety of his team. Closer and Bjergsen both still looking for it. There's that stopwatch, and Fudge baits them all in.
Doesn't matter how many Thieves there are, Flowers, Fudge is gonna style on them all. My goodness, kiting out there, using that Ksante Omni Vamp that you get with your ultimate to its maximum effect here as he's kiting backwards, baits them in. He had both the Gargoyle and a stopwatch. Come on, actually styling on them. Another one.
C9, they've got so much of a lead now that they're just hard forcing against 100 Thieves. The reigning LCS champs going back up against the squad they beat to earn the title, and they're doing the same thing now they did back then. C9 take down the first inhibitor in bottom lane. They'll grab the second inhib turret, but with 100 Thieves just about to have Bjergsen respawn, they don't want to stick around. Yes, they would still have 5 to 4 man advantage, but with Diplex low and a lot of resources spent in the previous fight, they don't want to risk a throw. They know that they're at the point of the game where if they don't do something stupid, it's in the bag.
And they're all rich. They've got so much money.
And they're rich.
In their pockets. Everybody going back to complete items. Berserker tops off this beautiful build with a Kempa chainsword for him as well. He's doing so much for the team. What a team player here. This is a utility team player build from him. So much though.
Fudge just leads the way. Initially, it looked like, oh no, he's face checking into 4, but it's 100 Thieves who have to turn around and run now. You're gonna see Bjergsen's spell shield there from the Banshee's Veil blocking Berserker's arrow, but the rest of the team is still ready to follow it up. Diplex goes on a killing spree. Bjergsen goes down. Busio is on the run. He'll try to escape from this one, but Zven doesn't want to let him get there. Fudge still chasing. He's run over the ultimate now, so he doesn't have that maximum level damage. Blaber's unstoppable. Closer's gone. And it looks like this just might be the end of the game. DoubleLift, I may have cursed you, my friend. I said, you know he's going to get 2 kills some point in this game, but DoubleLift's dead for 12 more seconds with only 1 kill. Busio and Tenacity will try to hold the line here with the Nexus turrets. Busio gets away to the safety of the fountain. Fudge at about 200 HP. Nexus turrets. One of them's down, the other one's still full. C9 not backing away yet. DoubleLift comes up. He even tries to flash to get it, but Fudge has the answer. They keep him alive. DoubleLift looking for another snipe, finds Blaber, but ain't enough to kill him. He's got the Guardian Angel anyway, and C9 decides to call it. The game won't end here, but it's a 5-digit gold lead. The Dragon's Soul is up, and C9 is marching towards it.
I heard rumors this offseason Cloud9 were smurfing their scrims. Looks like they've been gonna smurf their stage games as well. 100 Thieves gonna throw everything at this dragon though.
Tenacity looking to come around from the side, went for the counter strike, now has to immediately disengage without that defensive tool available. Bjergsen coming back in. Banshee's Veil's gonna eat a lot of those rockets. Bjergsen's in the middle of everybody. Zonia's drops the aggro, but where's the rest of the Thieves? Bjergsen goes in, Zven goes down. Now they're fighting Fudge. Now DoubleLift's got the shutdown on Berserker, and Fudge is having to get back away. A double kill back over to Blaber as they're fighting back, and Tenacity and Bjergsen trying to survive. It's a 2v2. Fudge is low. Tenacity needs a little bit more damage as Blaber finds Bjergsen, but he won't be able to find it. Now they turn back onto Blaber. A quadra kill over to Blaber. Blaber tries to get the penta. The shutdown back over to Bjergsen. You can see that one on your screen. Blaber versus Tenacity. Blaber can't win it. Tenacity gets him. Only top laners left alive. Fudge moving back forward. And the minions in the game. It's done. C9 gets the first win of LCS 2023.
Welcome back to the LCS. DoubleLift. Welcome to the LCS Ksante as well. Fudge absolutely smurfing with the Ksante.
DoubleLift did get his second kill. It was just during that final 2 minutes of madness that we didn't have time to acknowledge it. You told me, Kobe, at the start of this game, you said, I got a good feeling about this one. And that was truly a wild game to start us off with, all the way down to the minion ending. You can see the boys getting ready to take their first bow of the split. And if they keep playing like that, I'm sure there are many more to come.
Cloud9 picking up